A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. It's 20 days to the FIFA Women's World Cup. Of course, that will be our major focus on the show tonight. We'll talk about the FIFA rankings, talk about the Super Eagles, talk about the Naija Super 8, and a lot more for you on the show tonight. And of course, we'll look at what's happening, football transfers. This is that period where a lot of news start flying around and crazy money as well, exchanging hands between clubs. As you know, I'm not always alone. It's a two-man show anytime you're on to Sports Tonight. Tonight is not different. Of course, standing by and ready to fire on all cylinders, Austin Okonakpan. And of course, we're here to take the trip together. Austin, it's good to go on this trip again with you.
That's right. I mean, good to see you and good to be on the show. Sporty greetings to everyone joining us from different parts of the world, action-packed world of sports. You just mentioned 20 days to the start of arguably the biggest FIFA Women's World Cup that we will ever see for now. And I cannot wait for that one to begin. The NFF, they're planning to send forth for the Super Falcons that were rooting for them 100% at that competition. Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned it, the transfer season is here. It's the silly season where you hear a lot of unbelievable fees for players. For instance, your darling Arsenal chasing Declan Rice for a huge sum, about £105 million, you know. And I'm saying, where did Arsenal all of a sudden get out of this money to be spending on players? The Gunners seem to be leading the charge. Right after signing Kai Havertz, they want Declan Rice, and I think they're going to get him. It means Mikel Arteta wants to consolidate on what they did this season that just ended. I think they won the title, Yemi.
All right. But if you want my opinion, too much money. Going in the wrong direction. But we'll talk about that as we move on. Before I introduce our partner right here in the Lagos studio, we've talked about it. Austin has said it, I have said it, but an official confirmation so that you know the biggest, I dare say, biggest for now, that is, biggest FIFA Women's World Cup is 20 days to go. And just let's put it out there for you so that you know 20 days. You can start counting. The countdown has begun a long time ago. 20 days to go. New Zealand and Australia is the place to be for what will be the best in terms. A lot of firsts when you talk about women's football, prize money, ticket sales, a lot. There you have it, 20 days to go. And of course, we can just wait. And I know the ladies, they are raring to go. Hopefully, the Super Falcons of Nigeria will give us a good representation. All right, let me just quickly go on to introduce my partner, our partner, that is, in the Lagos studio. Bolu Omoni joins us now. And like I jokingly said, I was getting used to doing this virtual, and now it's good to see you live in the studio. Bolu, thanks for finding out time to be with us.
Good to be again live, not on the screen, not staring at you when we're good to be again. On a day where, well, as you're talking about the beauty of the World Cup, there are lots of problems coming on from the home front. Beauty plus ashes, it's coming together. Hopefully, we have a beautiful tournament in the end. And like you rightly said, the Naija Super 8, everyone is excited. Planners are excited, the organizers, the clubs are fortunate enough to make it there, they're excited. So I think for Nigerian football fans, at least for the next maybe 1 month, while the Premier League fans are on break, we will definitely still enjoy lots of football games.
All right, Austin says, so let me just throw it at you. Then, of course, we try to take it all around. Sanford Dina. We've tried our best not to talk about things from the rumor mill, but I'm very sure the viewers already know some comments attributed to the coach of the team, but we'll try to douse the tension. But all that is in the news is about that dinner to prepare the girls and send them forth, hoping that all is well.
Well, the NFL president, Brian Shebuso, talked about it during the Super 6 when it was there. But when nothing was said, the guy said, oh, this was not going to happen. And suddenly, they reminded us that this thing is so working. There, he said he would try and even get the First Lady to be around, motivate the players. On top, NFF officials will also be there to speak with them and send them forth. Then they will have 15 days training. I like that. At least finally, despite lots of criticism, nothing is being said about Falcons. The World Cup is almost here. Now they've said something. Hopefully, like they say here, you know, approval and disbursement are two different words in Nigeria. Hopefully, it's not just words of mouth. The dinner is supposed to be on Saturday in Abuja. Let's see if they'll get it. The only thing we are hearing is A player is in Lagos signing a deal, B player is here doing this and that. Now there's an official statement. All players are expected to be in Abuja, if not tomorrow, at least Saturday for the dinner. So let's see how far they will do moving to, if they will be camped for 15 days. It means latest they should be in Australia because they will be in Brisbane. They should be there by Wednesday. Let's see if that will, at least we're expected to watch them for dinner on Saturday.
All right, that's what it is. And okay, I think let Austin chip in. Austin, the things we're hearing about the girls, and of course against the backdrop of the preparations, what do you make of all as we have just 20 days to go to the tournament?
So I appreciate the fact that Randy Waldrum, is pulling out the alarm bells just before we go to the World Cup, and is just trying to get a safe way out of, the criticisms that will fall on him. I mean, 2 or 3 months ago, we were commending the NFF for giving the Super Falcons friendly games, weren't we? Didn't they travel to Mexico? Didn't they play some friendly games? I said, this is good. Now he's complaining about the 10 days that they will not have in Lagos before going to Australia. This man knows that he lacks the capacity to lead the Super Falcons. He knows. And at the end of the day, he's just trying to let the blames go around, particularly for the NFF that have not been bold enough to show this guy the way out so we can get someone who is competent to do the job. I've said it over and over again. I will pick Florence Omagbemi before Randy Waldrum. I would pick Eukeria Uche before Randy Waldrum. I would pick Coach Edwin Okon before Randy Waldrum, because he showed us all his weaknesses at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, showed us that he's clueless about the players, showed us that he cannot be productive and progressive when we want him to be. Look, these are all red flags that you don't give to a coach who is coaching a high school. He's a college coach. This is not the sort of man you give a national team assignment to coach the most respected, most colorful, decorated women's football team in Africa. He doesn't know it, because part of you being a manager is you manage crisis. You do manage crisis. That's what a young manager as Ten Hag did with the Ronaldo situation. Manchester United went on to win a trophy and have qualified for the Champions League. This man is just taking a look at it like, oh, we know the NFL, they've been saying they don't have money. He cannot lie that he's not being owed salaries. But we have a big competition, and as a manager, this is a project. You being a project manager, you will make sure you try to mitigate the risk that will not make you perform at the Women's World Cup. Look, you cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah.
I commend him, because sometimes some coaches will keep quiet. But this is some man who is coming out to say, I know I'm not competent. They have made my incompetence so glaring. So I want to let all of you know that you should not expect anything. We have not prepared well, and we don't have a team to compete. It's all good.
It's all good. But of course, for the sake of balance, just to add my perspective, on the NFF side, there are also things that has been said that shouldn't be happening. And I also like the fact that we all know that those things are there, but some of this things shouldn't be coming less than 3 weeks to a tournament. The timing is not right. All right, let's move on and talk about a team that you will always expect to do well, and that's the Seleção of Brazil, the female national team of Brazil. They have a very, very popular face as their manager, Pia Sundhage. And of course, she's been talking about, a women's football legend, Marta, going to a 6th World Cup. She's been talking about the role she expects Marta to play. Marta will be featuring in the 6th. She started playing in the World Cup, I think, at age 21. She's done a lot. Let's listen to the Brazil manager. I'll let Bo had his perspective. Then, of course, we go into the U.S. team. But first, let's sort out Brazil. Pia Sundhage speaking on Marta and the Brazil team.
She's one of the best. So just being around her and have a chance to play with her, I think that is very important. Will she be in starting lineup? I don't know. Not yet. And Marta is the queen, Marta is the icon, and just to be around her is contagious. And after 4 years, I think it's a perfect time to go to the World Cup and continue with our dreams.
All right, Bolu, before I yield the floor to Austin, here is a manager who appears to know what she wants, appears to know the role that she's given to the legend. And Pearson Haga has coached the best female teams. You know, let's not even talk about her resume. It's intimidating. But I like the way she's approached the matter. And you could see that there probably was a discussion between the coach and Marta before all of these things came out.
Talking about resume, and we have a Nuga coach as our own national team coach. Well, the truth is, a coach that knows what he or she is doing. If you're making bold decisions about your senior players, you need to relate with them before coming out. I remember the Yobo situation in 2013. From what we heard, it was Yobo that announced the team list. A team list that he was not there. It means Keshi would have spoken with him, that guy. For whatever reason, you need to sit out this game. You won't play every game. But let me give you the honor. Call out the team list. That way, Yobo felt important. They felt, oh, this guy respects me. That's exactly what she's doing to Marta. Marta is not expected to start all games. We saw the same thing with the U.S. national team, bringing about the Alex Morgans, bringing about Rapinoe. They will likely not play all the games. But it means you sit down with them and have a conversation. The goal is to win. In the end, if Marta doesn't play a minute and the Brazil wins the World Cup, nobody will think about Marta not playing. In the end, you hear things like her leadership in the bench is good, has been in the team as a motivation and all those things. Probably that's why some said Onome is going to her last tournament as well. Let her go their leadership. So I like it when managers know their job. Like Austin rightly said, a manager is not just the head coach. Some teams will tell you this is our head coach. Some will tell you this is the manager. You are going beyond what happens on the field of play. The dressing room is yours. The entire coaching crew is yours. People will not call up before people think about the administrator. We are in Nigeria. That's why we know about the NFF and co. We don't know about Brazil FA. We don't know about the England FA. What we know is the coach. So you are the voice. And I like that she has calmly addressed the issue. I'm sure if you had said that, well, everybody fights for their shirts. Media will say ask questions. Now we know. I've spoken with this lady. This is what we want to do. Leave the rest to us and we'll sort it out on the pitch. So I think that's maturity.
That's maturity, and you can argue. I can see Austin nodding. He said, obviously, we're all in agreement as to how Pearson Haga has handled that. Let's also contrast with the United States situation. Similar scenario, Austin.
States team, we already talked about them, that all the everyday favorites, you know, to win the Women's World Cup. They are going for the three-peats, and then bringing, you know, Alex Morgan and bringing Rapinoe into the mix tells you that they understand that with women's football, the older the wine, it tastes better, you know, because you need that experience right there. And we listened to Rapinoe the other day, and she said, look, they're looking forward to this, and they want to use it, you know, to make a good name for women's football in the United States of America. Just as Bolu said, and what Brazil seemed to be doing. Look at how the coach handled it. This is the great matter. She's making a record 6th appearance at the World Cup. Is she going to start? The World Cup hasn't come, so I don't know. It depends on what she gives, the kind of understanding she has with the team. Same thing with this women's team, you know, of United States of America. They will ensure that the younger players and the experienced ones come together, because football is teamwork. So let's listen. Let's take some reactions coming from the United States team, and we'll be right back.
That does any sort of resting on its laurels. It's always about, you know, the next game, the next, you know, part of, you know, progress we can make, the next thing that we can fight for, where we can use our platform, and how we continue on the field to be the absolute best team that we possibly can. I think this is going to be, just as every World Cup is, you know, the best World Cup by far. You're going to see the best product on the field, and that's because players are going to be able to be put in a position to actually do that and just focus on the game and go out there and provide the entertainment everybody wants.
I'm so sad for Becky. She was a huge role model for me, and someone that took me under her wing and helped me in this leadership role. But I also have these two next to me that have really helped me come into my own. I think my leadership role has changed a huge amount on the field.
Trying to just be present and not think about all the external factors that go into it, and to enjoy this, because it is a dream come true just to be on this roster and go to a World Cup. And yeah, I just want to embrace it all and enjoy it, because that's when I'm having fun.
There's nerves for sure. I mean, I've never experienced something like this. A lot of us haven't, but I think there's also that comfort knowing that there's players that haven't, and knowing that we have those people to talk to, and that will be there for us, but also having the vets who have experience.
That's right. The players are looking forward to the competition. And Yemi and Bolu, it comes back to everything that we've been talking about. The coach picks this team. So at the point he's drafting these players to go to Australia and New Zealand for the World Cup, he's already having the understanding of how he's going to use them. Not bring players that you don't understand. And shout out to the United States team. I've been hearing about Megan Rapinoe forever, and she's just 37. I've been hearing about Alex Morgan forever, and she's just 33. Same thing with Marta, and she's just 37. You know, and it tells you that with football, not just football, sports, when a country does so well, you know, to get young talent to grow, Bolu, you will definitely reap that reward of longevity.
And in the end, if you compare some of these countries to Nigeria, talent-wise, some of them don't even have what we do. But they know how to harness the talent. I always go back to a meeting I had with some South Africans in 2016 or 2015. They said the guys that won medals at the Olympic, it was not fluke, it was in 2016. And those guys that won a Rio, it was not fluke, that some of them have been in a school for like 8 years. The school is basically sports, but they still run the regular academy. So they don't just come up with, oh, Yemi is my friend, let me just take Yemi to the town. No, the guys that went there went on merit, not, okay, let me pick this one, let me pick A and B. So talent is not a problem here. We say it all the time. We hear stories of Elijah can swim. Why not pick these Elijah boys that can swim and train them how to swim as a professional? They are inter-country swimming marathon. Why not train these guys? So our major challenge is harnessing this talent. Hopefully we get it right someday. Have a sport minister that has eye for sports.
All right, that's what we're all hoping for. Have a sports minister that has a eye for sports and back it up with a policy that ensures that everything goes into sync. All right, let's come home now and talk about the Naija Super 8. That's where we're going. We're going to start off with the wild card entries. A lot of people have been wondering the teams that got in. And there you have it on your screen. Austin will be all smiles by the time I read out what I'm going to read out, because what you have on your screen is his darling Aqua United and Sporting Lagos. Those two teams making it all complete, they're the wild cards. So let's look at the composition of the Naija Super 8, our next sport of call. Of course, the 8 teams now, we'll look at them before we now show you the groups that they've been put into. And of course, it's going to be very interesting to now see all of them. The playoff teams, the ones that just got in, should we say on merit, via being in the Super 6. You have Lobby Stars, Christina United, Remo Stars, Yobe Desert Stars, Rivers United, and Enyimba International. All of these teams are the ones that just went in. All right, and so now we have it's complete. The fanfare, the glamour, and all of the things that heralded how these teams were chosen, were picked to be in the Super 8. The excitement, of course, now heightened with what you have on your screen. You have Group A, Remo Stars, Casino United, Enyimba International, Sporting Lagos. Then, of course, you go to Group B, Aqua United, Rivers United, Lobby Stars, Yobe Desert Stars. It's going to be very, very interesting. All right, so let me just quickly go back to Austin. You look at this draw, and of course, I'm going to ask Bolu a similar questions. What are your expectations?
Good football, you know. I've commended the Naija Super 8 from the start. At the regional playoffs, we saw beautiful football in Eket, and now the main competition will be happening in Lagos. Shout out to whoever put Aqua United. I mean, there's nothing anybody will tell me. People watch this show. I told Cecilia that if you're looking for a team to give the wild card, give it to Aqua United, and here we are. They say, okay, let's just make us still happy. You know, so good competition, good opportunity for Aqua United to compete. They missed out of the MPFL Super 6 narrowly, just because of that last game that they, couldn't get the vital win. So it will be good to see beautiful football again and get us talking about football in Nigeria. Shout out to everyone involved in this one. I like the fact that players are busy, coaches are busy, the media were busy talking about what's going on with football development in Nigeria. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, I know Bono would want to talk about what happened in Group A and Group B. We'll talk about it when we return. Don't go anywhere. Back Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're talking about the Naija Super 8. We're getting set now for the main action in Lagos. Bolu, you saw Group A, you also saw Group B. What sort of football should we be expecting?
I think there's something between Eyimba and Remo Stars. They will tell us someday. So don't be shocked if both of them finish first and second and end up meeting in the final again. But that's the beauty of the game. When you are doing well, it's good to always see the result. And for like 2 years now, we've been seeing it with Eyimba. Despite all the criticisms for Eyimba, despite all the talks of they are not doing well, they found a way, like the local palace will say, the Rakpala to win the title record time. Now they are the favorites to win the Super 8 without any doubt, because the fact that they are NPFL champions, it's obviously they are favorites too, but in sports, it's not all about favorites. It's doing what happens on the field of play. But one thing is certain, I think we would enjoy the game. I say it all the time, if you are doing any sport, if you know money is not a problem, you know, whatever happens, you are getting your money. You put your all, you put passion. You are not thinking about, even when we finish, what's coming on. So that alone means these guys will play well. And some of them even finish the Super 6. They've been at this venue before. They've been in Lagos. Some of them are used to it. Sporting Lagos that were added also play their game in Lagos. So it's definitely, it should be an interesting game. And the fact that we'll get to watch these games on TV. So those that can't go to the venue, you can also see it on TV. Now, those of us that love our local football, we can boldly tell anybody, if you do see it, you're going to watch it, it's on TV. That's what we hope to get in the MPFL, hopefully for next season.
I love it, you know, and particularly with Sporting Lagos, you know, getting into the mix. They've brought some good branding into football in Nigeria. It's an NNL side. Same thing with Yobe Desert Stars. So this is a mix of the teams, the lower tier, and the teams and the big boys playing in the MPFL. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I love upsets. So I'll be looking forward to, you know, reporting those upsets and particularly oddities. Let's get on with the show now. Talk about football development in Nigeria. Look, Bolo and Yemi, we need to go back and take a look at what Bendel Insurance seem to be doing, because I think that's the model. Why am I saying Bendel Insurance? Because it's a state-owned club, but they are getting the business side of what we're always talking about. They secured kit sponsorship. Through the kit sponsorship, the state government were able to even get some funding on the way for the team. We've not heard about players complaining about welfare. They try to create equality between Bendel Insurance and Edo Queens, state-owned team. So that when somebody is telling me football is not struggling, it's because most of the teams are owned by the state. I would listen with one ear and say, but go and see what Bendel Insurance seems to be doing now. Philip Shaibu, the deputy governor, who we know is spearheading most of the things that are happening with Bendel Insurance and football in Edo State, is saying they want to make Bendel Insurance so independent that they can self-fund themselves. I love it. Let's listen to him here. But when we come back, we'll talk about this, because this is going to be a charge to other football teams in Nigeria to treat football as a business and respect financial regulations. Let's listen to Philip Shaibu.
Whether you like it or not, football, sports, can only be sustained by the private sector. Government duty is to provide the facility. And that is what we've done in Edo State. We've provided facility. Now the private sector now need to now come in and take advantage of those facilities to now put in their investment in the league. You can see from what I'm putting on, you can see that Bendel is the first team in Nigeria that have been able to get this private sponsorship deal for it. Beyond the jersey, that we have an MOU with the manufacturer. So we are looking forward to more investment by the private sector. And this time, obviously, we are looking for more private sector investment in insurance. And this season, we hope that the present brand will be upping its game. If not, we're already having some other competitors that are ready to bring in money, and their name will be on our jersey, because this time we are not only selling their product within Nigeria, we are selling their product outside Nigerian shores. So it's what we want to make, and our determination to make Bendel Insurance what it is is to the extent that insurance can stand on its own with or without government funding. That is the direction we are taking Bender Insurance, so that at the end of the day, if you don't have a governor that likes sport, you don't have a deputy governor that is a footballer, insurance will not go back to where we pick it from. So that is all the things we are putting together to make Bender Insurance a team that it is, because Bender Insurance is a mass movement club. The supports of Bender, the supports fan base of Bender Insurance is huge, beyond Edo State, beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa.
Awesome. Let me just take you to Bolu. Bolu, you listened to the Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu. Are you not impressed?
You have to probably be a stony-hearted person not to be impressed with what he's doing so far with the clubs and as well as the sports in the country as well. See their performances recently at the National Sport Festival. It's similar to what I said about having a sport minister who has the heart of sport. It's one thing to be good. It's one thing to be a good person. It's another thing to like sport. But if sport is not your thing, even if you like it off of the top of your head, it won't come naturally. Remember, Philip Shaibu played for Bender Insurance until I think last year or 2 years ago. So he has a heart of sport. He will keep telling you he's a member of the club. See what he's wearing for that interview. He's still wearing their jersey. Like Austin said, they are state sponsored, yes, but they are running like a private club. They have sponsors for their jersey. How many clubs in NPFL have jersey sponsors? I'm not sure they're up to 5. They fly their players, and to make it worthy, they give the ladies the same treatment. Not that, okay, because they are boys. No. Both of them enjoy the same treatment and go to other sports for the sports festival. He said at some point during the festival, I want to make the state a sports hub, like the best sporting state in the country. It may work, it may not work, but at least you know this is the heart of sports.
An attempt was made.
Exactly, and the attempt is being made. So I like how it is running. Others are state club, state club, state club. Like I said, this is an example. So don't come and say it cannot work. If you want it to work, it can work. Talking about the Yimbas, talking about Shooting Stars, those clubs that have traditional NPFL clubs, even Kano Pillars in the second division. Those are the clubs that should be the front runners. Hopefully, they are ready to learn. I'm sure Shaibu can't be wicked if they go to me, how are you making these things work? Definitely they can. A governor or deputy governor or minister in the state cannot talk to any brand that, please, sponsor this thing, and all brands will refuse. No, if you have the heart to make it work, I believe it will work.
And Yemi, you listen to him saying, we hope that our sponsor will up their game, because they are already planning, saying, if you don't up the game, we are Bender Insurance. We went their bridge season unbeaten. We are a brand. We'll go elsewhere. That's business. That's why it was important for us to play that interview so that other state football administrators will listen and see that these things can be done. And no wonder the Nigeria Olympic Association, the president, Olumide Oyedeji, said they have nominated Philip Shaibu for a special recognition award. He's a government official. He's a deputy governor, but he has checked it and said, look, everything we've been doing in Edo State is okay, but for youth empowerment, let's go the way of sports. And I mean, if you check in the last 4 years, whenever Edo is majorly in the news, it's because of sports.
Yeah, sure. You have to have your ears closed and your eyes covered not to see what's happening in Edo State with regards to the push and the things that Philip Shaibu is doing. And it's no surprise, really, Austin, that it gets that kind of recognition. And I was telling Bolu while we were listening to Philip Shaibu that Shooting Stars and Naija, and Bolu said, Shooting Stars and Naija shouldn't even have, they should be in that league, that category, where even when a governor doesn't like sports, if you allow maybe the states just hold a minority stake or whatever, keep a percentage for themselves, those guys will should be able to do those, have followership easily and get it done. And hopefully we'll get to that point. You know what? There's something we didn't plan to do, but let's quickly do it because it's the season where rankings are coming out. Usually, sometimes a lot of people don't take rankings seriously, but then sometimes it's a barometer. You use it to measure the progress. Some of us are yet to understand how they arrive at some of these things. But we're taking it seriously. Let's look at the ranking of football playing nations by world's football governing body, FIFA. Let's start with Africa. We'll start from home. Charity begins at home, so they say. So Nigeria is out of the top 5. That's, I mean, the biggest piece of news that you might want to take from it. Atlas Lions of Morocco, first in Africa, 13th in the world. Teranga Lions, 18th, second in Africa. Carthage Eagles of Tunisia, 31st, third in Africa. Desert Foxes of Algeria in the 33rd position. Pharaohs of Egypt in the 34th. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the 6th position. As far as FIFA is concerned, the 39th best football playing nation in the world. Let's look at what it is globally. And I'm going to ask Bolu whether or not he agrees. I'm seeing some countries in the top 10. I'm wondering how they got there. I'll keep my thoughts to myself. Maybe Bolu will say what's in my mind. The Argentines, I mean, World Cup winners, followed by France, the Seleção of Brazil, 3 Lions of England, followed by Belgium. Then you have Croatia, Netherlands, Italy, Portugal, and Spain in that order, making the top 10. As far as FIFA is concerned, these are the top 10 football playing nations in the world. And as I go back to my seat, Bolu, let's start with the global ranking. Maybe you speak my mind. Is there any country in the top 10? You wonder.
Well, let's put it this way. The way the rankings are done, it's a 5-year cycle. So, for example, June 5 years ago, the points for that month will be taken out. Then they add the points for this month. So if the same thing happens in July, they take it out. So that's why sometimes the team will keep doing well now, and it won't reflect. It's because they were poor at some point. So teams like Belgium, they were forced to feel, I think last year, they were top for like 4 or 5 years. Now they are dropping. They were 4th last month. Now, as at April, now they've dropped to 5th. I'm sure by the time they will do next month, or maybe after 2 months or there, but I'll keep dropping. So, but like you rightly said, so many people don't put heart too much to the FIFA rankings. It helps though sometimes for coefficients, for potting, when you need to set for groupings, but for the game itself on the field, it's what happens that matters, not necessarily the rankings.
Okay, and for the Africa, the Super Eagles, for instance.
I thought we would have even gone further there, because losing 5 in 9 under pressure, I thought we would have gone deeper. But even Morocco at some point were 11th, they've dropped to 13th. The African one had not to pick it out the way it is. The only surprise could be for many that they thought Senegal should be above Morocco. But if you check the run of Morocco at the World Cup, obviously major tournaments like that have more points than friendly. So if you add it together, maybe that's one of the things that helps Morocco.
All right, let's go to Austin. I don't know if he has a thing or two to say. We have just about 2 stories before the show wraps up. I'd love to talk about Caroline Wozniacki. She's back. I have a feeling Serena might be back, but let me keep that to myself. Austin, your thoughts on the rankings quickly, then we'll move on to talk about the other issues.
Yeah, I mean, you know my views about the ranking. It's the FIFA rankings, and even these days with awards, when FIFA comes out and do what they want, they do it because they're FIFA. But I know you were taking a swipe at Belgium in the top 10, right? You're like, what are they doing there? But I think Belgium as a country, they're trying to, get themselves back there. I think in the Euro Nations League, they were decent enough. So probably the consistency that they've shown right after crashing out of the World Cup is what puts them in that top 10. And for the Super Eagles, they gained 1 point up, and they're still not able to make the top 5. A clear testament of where we are with our football. I don't think anybody will contest that. 16 Africa and 39th in the world. We need to do much more to gain back our respect as a football playing nation. The NFF down to the technical crew. Everyone needs to come together and see how they can, make an impactful appearance at the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire.
All right, let's move on the show. We have just about 4 precious minutes. I want us to use it well. Let's talk about the tournament for basketball players plying their trade on the continent. Talking about the AfroCan qualifier. Let's talk about the D Tigers that will be competing in the qualifiers. Let's just go on to show you. It's going to come up on your screen. We're in Group A, and of course, Group A. These are the fixtures. I was thinking we're going to show you the composition of Group A, but maybe we'll start with this first. As you have it on your screen, tomorrow, Friday, June the 30th, Nigeria will be up against Guinea. on Saturday, of course, Benin Republic comes calling, and Côte d'Ivoire will lock horns with Nigeria's Tigers. And so, on this trend of what you have on your screen, you could safely conclude and assume, and you would be right if you do so, in Group A for this African, we have Nigeria, Guinea, Benin Republic, and Côte d'Ivoire. That's it right there on your screen. A very good one, if you ask me. Keep our players busy, especially with the log jam we have on the domestic scene. At least the guys get the opportunity to get something done. All right. So, Bolu, let me ask you your thoughts on this one. You probably have to make that quick, but I'm happy to see this happen.
Well, if you think NFF have problem, MBBF are worse. So I don't know what to expect from them, really, because we don't even know the players going. That's on one side. Obviously, anytime Nigeria gets to any event, it's always to hope they do also. But based on what we have in the group, we should be hopeful that they may, at least aside Côte d'Ivoire, which look like their biggest challenge, they should do enough to progress. But again, we don't know who is going. We don't know the coach in charge. If they pick a good enough squad, they should do enough to progress from the group.
All right, Austin, Bolu has said it. That's a great picture. We always go into any tournament hoping.
I know, Yemi. It's so funny, you know. I don't know why people who don't have any business with sports administration in Nigeria just goes into the administration and give the sports a neck choke. This MBBF, I don't understand. You are getting into this competition. This competition is new. Started in 2019. Democratic Republic of Congo. They are defending champions. Congo, Yemi. The Afro basket for women, it's about a month away. The D Tigress, they've won that competition 3 times, going for the first time with record. Nobody from the MBBF, they're not saying anything. Let's talk about something else.
All right, I'll obey your command. We'll talk about something else. And the next port of call, our last story on the show tonight, Caroline Wozniacki. Let me just say, Caroline Wozniacki is a friend, a very dear friend of Serena Williams. So you know where I'm going. She was out of the scene 3 years, now she's back. And she said, I had a conversation with Serena Williams, talked about it, I want to be back. So she has gone, she's been able to raise a family, get married, have 2 kids, and now she's saying she's back. Let me go to Bolu, we're pressed for time, but your thoughts. She said, look, I've been playing, and it looks like I was better than I was before I said I wasn't playing anymore.
Well, it shows why Venus is still here. They always don't want to leave the competition. And she's not done so well in Wimbledon. So let's see if this could be a chance. She's not going past the 4th round. If she gets to the 5th round this time, Michael, she'll be so. She's probably not coming to win. Let me just enjoy and show the world that I still have it. And that this could be a message to Serena, that guy. He can also come back.
All right. But I want to thank you for your time on the show. That's how the cookie crumbles. Hopefully, we'll do another show where you'll be live with me in
Hopefully.
the studio.
Good to be here again.
All right. Austin, we got to go.
Yeah, Bolu, unfortunately, Caroline Wozniacki isn't just making a return. She believes she can go on to win this year's US Open, and I want to wish her all the best. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonak, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right. I want to thank you for your time, for allowing us into your living rooms without us knocking. Is a privilege we'll never take for granted. Still one more show for the week, and that's going to be tomorrow. Till then, enjoy yourself. Enjoy what's left of the holidays. We're back here again tomorrow.